Game week excitement. Obviously, we've been preparing a long time for this opportunity to come back in 2024 and open up against Kent State team from the Mid-American Conference. I think our team is excited to hit somebody else. They've been hitting each other, competing against each other for a long time against themselves. I think these openers. Sometimes you can worry about the opponent. I told the guys yesterday, I don't care if we're playing Georgia or playing Kent State. The focus has to be on what we do. It doesn't come down to what they do. I told them yesterday after practice again. It's what we do as a football player, as a team, as a unit, offensively, defensively, and special teams. So to me, that's the critical thing: is focus on us. Don't worry about the opponent. If we go out there and play the game we're supposed to play, I think we'll walk off the field happy. As you guys probably got the first updated, depth chart whenever you got it. You see, there's a lot of guys that think are starters on that football team. We got a lot of guys that are going to get an opportunity to go out there and either start or be considered a starter. So we feel like we got a lot of those. Obviously, that quarterback position is one that you guys probably take great interest in, probably more than I do. I didn't know who it is, but we feel like Nate and Eli both are guys that we consider starters. So those two have competed their tails off all camp, and we'll go out there and go. I think the starter will be determined how we practice this week. We got practicing yesterday, so we'll see how they practice, how they pick up the game plan. But the plan right now, is to play both those guys on Saturday and let the competition begin. On the field, it's one of those that I think is too close to just say, hey, this is what it is. Let's take a chance at it. I think both of them are very capable. I think they're both guys that can win football games for us, and I'm excited to watch both of them play. If you guys recall, back in 2015, we did it. My first year here, with Chad Wojtek and Nathan Peterman. We got into game 3, I believe, and it was over at that point. I wish I had made that decision to pick a starter quicker than that. But we're going to let it ride. Again, I feel great with both those guys. I think we got two conscientious, smart, intelligent, athletic quarterbacks, and that's where we go there. Obviously, Kent State, Kenny Burns going in his second year at Kent. Guy that spent a lot of time with PJ Fleck at Minnesota. He's an old running back guy. He's an offensive coach. He likes his run game. He's got a new offensive coordinator who was the tight ends coach a year ago, who came from Charlotte. So we've put on a lot of Charlotte tape as well as Kent State personnel tape and watching what they're doing. So you're prepared for Kent State stuff, prepared for Charlotte. Typical opener. They got a new defense coordinator. I think they got a new defense coordinator halfway through the spring. Cody Morgan is their new defense coordinator. He's a guy that was a safeties coach and a special teams coordinator a year ago. So really, when you think about guys calling the offense, Carney and Morgan both will be calling their first game as coordinator. So a little bit hard to kind of know what you're going to get either way. That's why it's even more important that the focus comes on us. It doesn't matter what they give us. We have to just go out and execute. If it's a run, execute the run. If we're going to blitz them, then let's be really good at the blitz and keep things as simple as possible. Let our guys play hard, play fast. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Pat, Sean Fitzsimmons isn't listed on the depth chart. Is he out?
He is not out. Maybe a little bit banged up, but Sean would be on the depth chart. But probably should have put another oar next to him. Amanda, thanks for letting me know about that. Might work on that one. So, yeah, Sean's been banged up. I'm not going to get into talking about injuries, but he's been banged up a little bit, and we hope to have him back real soon.
That one of the classic monikers of football.
And maybe even this week. You never know.
One of the classic sayings of football when people talk about quarterbacks is that if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. How did these two guys beat that? What have they shown you you in camp that both these guys are ready to go?
Last year at this point, I didn't feel like we had two quarterbacks. Okay, we'll start there. Felt like we had one quarterback, I thought. Okay, I feel so much better about where that is. But you can take slogans and those terms, Chris. We'll find out on the 31st, right? I mean, I believe we have two really good quarterbacks. I really do. They're both, and again, Nate was, the starter coming out of, spring ball as we've talked through camp. And Eli made some major improvements. I mean, it's like he caught up, and there was some competition going on. And I feel like to say, one guy's going to get that opportunity to take the first snap, but to say, at that position, at the quarterback position, that, hey, it's all about practice, because you know what, you get used to playing against one defense and one coverage or whatever it may be. That doesn't mean you're the best quarterback. So to me, that thing needs to be, put over into a game-like situation and let it go from there. Just like a lot of those positions. I don't care if you talk about the defensive end or D tackles. I mean, I got, the Kai Johnson, the Nick James, Isaiah. I mean, shoot, there's a lot of guys up there that, there's, that whole D line. I mean, L.A. Donald. I mean, who's the starter? Every week there's going to be a different starter there. I almost bet my life that every week it's going to be a different. Who played well the last week? They're going to get that chance in the beginning of the week. You could be an all-conference player if you don't come out and practice the next week. You're probably a backup if you can't get the checks and you come out there and slop around and practice thinking you just can show up. So, it doesn't matter what position. If we got 5 D tackles, then we not have any. I think it's the same thing. I really love our quarterback situation right now, and I feel like we're in a good position. And someone's going to have to prepare for 2 of them because they're both going to play.
Pat, are their skill sets complementary?
It's good to have you back.
In Paris, that's okay.
Come
All
to the
right.
Olympics, man.
That's all right.
You have a croissant over there?
I
or what?
did many croissants.
Yeah.
But are their skill sets, are Eli and Nate's skill sets complementary? I mean, do they bring different things to the offense?
You know what? The offense is not going to change that much based on who they are, but they're very similar on what they can do. I mean, like I said, start off, they can operate and manage the offense. That's the first thing. It's not like one's going to be slower than the other. They can both operate it at a fast tempo, we'll find out what skills come out there on game day. And, who's got those intangibles on game day? Who's going to bring us the best package?
You made a comment a minute ago, but Kent State not knowing who's going to be the quarterback. Is that important to you, the other team?
Not really.
Out in their head?
Not really. Sometimes in different positions, but not for that one. That's not the reason. I can guarantee you that. Because they're preparing for both of them. Even though they probably don't have much tape on Eli, they're prepared for both of them anyway, probably. And just like we're prepared for 2 of their quarterbacks.
So Pat, you're saying that both guys will play Saturday. Do you guys have certain packages for one or the other? If there's certain things that both do well in different ways?
No, the same package. To Will's question, really, it's the same thing. Like it's not like we can't run this with him. We get to do this now. I can tell you this. Coach Bell he'll sit down with both those guys and say, hey, what do you like? What do you like? They each have things they like better, but they can operate and do everything the same. It's not like he's gonna have to change, but, instead of, Nate's favorite play may be this, and Eli's is this, but they're all in the favorites. They've all practiced everything that we're gonna have in the game plan.
Are you
So
hoping to
you're-
settle this battle after Kent State week, or are you comfortable rotating them into Cincinnati week?
You know what? I'd like to do what comes out, whatever happens. I mean, I think we maybe can all be sitting in that press conference room after the game going, okay, it looks like that guy, right? I mean, we can all have our opinions. I'd like to know as soon as possible. I don't want to drag it on. I want to get it done as soon as I possibly can.
So you're trying to judge the 2 quarterbacks, you're also trying to break into new offense. Do all these things make you maybe less likely to hold big chunks of the offense back like you've done in the past in these season openers?
No, not, when you say that, I've never held anything back. I've never called an offensive play, but I've never held anything back in an opener. We're not holding back. We want to play football. We're going to win a football game. Kent will not be coming in here. They'll play their best game of the year. I can promise you that. They will come in here cranked up, 2 hours down the road, and they will play their best game of the season.
Has Nate shown a similar level of mobility to Eli?
At times, yeah. I mean, you could probably put them on 40s if you can go to the NCAA 24 game. I think one's got better speed than the other. I don't know how to predict that, they both run pretty darn good. It's not like there's some drop back quarterback that isn't going to be able to be mobile enough. So they both move well.
It was awards, but no awards in front of Rashad Battle. So did he do well?
I don't know, maybe we missed an or there. Rashad Battles has done a nice job. I mean, I think, Ryland, and you can almost say Taman, same thing, and Rashad might be the top 3 right now. So, you could probably put another or there if you wanted to. I've got 4 bright ors on EJ's sheet and Mike's sheet. But Taman, between Ryland, Taman, and Rashad, those to me right now, at this point, would be those 3 guys that are gonna get the majority of those reps. We'll kind of see how it goes, but, I've been impressed with Rashad. He's a senior. He's been through a battle, okay, through his career at Pitt. I'm excited that he's stayed healthy and, excited to see him play.
And Rodney's obviously played a lot of snaps for you. What has Desmond shown to have that over there at the running back position?
Yeah, I mean, Desmond, you know, and I probably said this, you know, pre-practice, you know, just Desmond's got a little gear, and he's tough, and you know, like I said, he's, you know, I think he sits behind the podium and is kind of like this, looking at the guys when he got a chance to sit up here and talk. And matter of fact, I think the guys messed with him a little bit and said, "Hey, stand up," because we have a lot of fun in here. You know, Desmond is a tough son of a gun. Let me just tell you, and he's fast. He's got burst. You know, he's not as big as Izzy was in the past, but he's got one of those. He's got that breakaway speed that if you give him a hole, he can take it to the house. So that's what. And again, he can catch the ball in the backfield. He's very versatile.
Has that familiarity with the offense kind of helped him, you think, too, as well?
I think so. I think, you know, he wouldn't tell you that because he doesn't say anything. It's like I try to get him to talk, really just smiles. And you gotta love that about him.
You didn't list your quarterbacks alphabetically, even if there's an order that goes. Curious, why not?
Because I was struggling with the alphabet, I guess, maybe. I have no idea.
Pat, you said Eli made big strides.
Is everything else alphabetical in here world-wise? I have no idea.
You said Eli made big strides to close that gap with him. What specifically have you seen from him during camp to kind of make it a competition?
Probably wasn't as fair, you know, maybe in spring ball. You know, he had a little bit of a hammy. I mean, I think he dealt with the hammy going in, hamstring injury going into, you know, spring ball and out of spring ball, and just, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't put a finger on it. I mean, just the time, I guess, that he had in the offense in the summer. Obviously, he did a great job in the summer, and spending time in the classroom and just, you know, learning it. You know, so I couldn't put my finger on exactly why, but he's made some strides, that's for sure.
Could you speak a little bit to what you've gotten to know about Cade over the 8 months since you hired him and you've gotten to know him a little bit and worked with him?
What was the question?
What have you gotten to know about Cade since you hired him and since he got here over these past 6
Gosh, you
months?
learn every day. You want the good or the bad? Just kidding.
Both.
Both, yeah, I'm sure you do. No, you know, Cade's, he's enthusiastic. He coaches the same way every day. He's consistent. You know, I can't say he's anything but a ball coach. Coach's kid. You know, just, you know, love everything about him right now. I mean, we'll find out when games come, but he's a ball coach. He's into it. He's got great plans. You know, I like the way he game plans. That's something that comes up new. There's something, you know, every day there's something maybe new you can learn about him. That, you know, I can't go through the list, but like just watching the way he game plans different than other guys, you know, that I've been around throughout the years. So that's about all I can tell you.
Pat, in my years of covering you, I don't think I've seen a freshman get one of those starting oars like Francis Brewer did at a position like that. What has he done to show that he's at the level of guys that you're very familiar with, like Nakai?
Yeah, you know, Francis started off a little bit robotic, but he's a pleaser. You know, when you talk about, you know, 4-3 and you know, he's a guy that's just trying to do exactly what, you know, Coach Dowse or we want him to do every play. And if you tell him to stay in his A gap, stay in his A gap. I mean, he's really consistent with his footwork and doing what he's supposed to do. You know, he's probably the hardest transition was just trying to teach him how to run the ball. He, you know, play the run and turn around and look like this for a while and see where the ball's going. But he's improved there. But like, he just attacks his gap and he's where he's supposed to be, and that's half the battle. Sometimes some guys want to swim around gaps and try to, you know, ad-lib. He's a dude that just consistently every day you go. I trust that guy that when we put him out there and we say do this, he's going to do it. That's why he is where he is. And the other thing that separates him a little bit is he's strong. When he puts his hands on you, you know, I'll tell you, you know, the first day we went scout team. I don't know if I told you this already. First day we went scout team. He's on the scout field because every freshman, regardless of what your position is, goes to the scout team. And he's over there. I heard some of the old linemen say, "Well, he ain't gonna be here long, coach." You know, it's kind of like, you know, they know. I mean, that's what you want. When guys know who that guy is, that's what you want.
You're right. By the way, your D tackles are not alphabetical. You're gonna need all 5 of them on a hot day, aren't you?
We're gonna need 6 or 7 of them. I like to play them all. You know, again, practice is practice, guys. It's hard. You know, I'm sure it's the same way next door. It's hard to tell, you know, like, who those guys are until you, I mean, that's why I wish we had scrimmages. Now, I can give you, you know, there may be less oars on there if you get in a game and you don't get it done. I mean, maybe there's less oars, you know, in week 2, but until you have that opportunity to you know, to do it in a real game and not in a scrimmage and in front of people when the lights go on, I think it's critical.
What did Jimmy Scott do to separate himself as a starter?
You know, he grew up a lot from spring ball. You know, Jimmy's been solid. You know, I'm again, he separated himself, but let me tell you, Chief is right there too. I mean, I could put another damn oar there, right? I mean, I really could. And going to the other end, Sincere, you know, a little bit banged up during camp, but Sincere's another guy. Like, I'm excited to see all those guys, and that's a good thing. If there wasn't many oars on here, it means we don't think we have many guys that can play for us. And again, in 2 weeks, I may say that, hey, there's less oars, but gosh, I was wrong, and you know, and again, that's what we're gonna find because, you know, camp is over, right? I mean, when the season starts and you get an opponent, you find out really where you are.
Kate told us at media day that he doesn't script plays in practice. How much do you,
Ever.
how much do you think that that's helped the 2 quarterbacks, take command of the offense?
You know what, it's a great question, Amanda. I don't know how it helps him take command. I just know he's never scripted a play. That's something I've learned, you know, go back to your question. Like something like never script a play. Like, hey, can we script this? No, we don't. Like, he just calls it. I love it. You know, when I was at Michigan State in the last few years here, I'd have a call-it period. Sometimes last year I'd say, hey, it's a call-it period. And, you know, we'd have, you know, we're like this reading stuff off of a piece of paper. So the call-it period is about as realistic as you can get. It means you're doing it. And you know what? It's made Coach Bates better because he's got to call it every day. And he doesn't have, you know, he's got to call it. You know, he doesn't know what the heck the play is. I think it makes for, you know, fun practice. It goes fast. I like scripts personally. I'm old school. I like scripts, but you know, it's something I've had to get used to. It's like, really, you know, I don't know what I would have done if I was a D coordinator. I might not like it as much. You know, I'd like to, you know what I'm getting and get a defense versus an offense and all that. But it is, you know, I don't know if it's, you know, helping the quarterbacks. They just know, you know, like we're going, and you know, they can operate at any speed, and they can operate with regardless of what the call is. That's their job, is to know everything.
I know you're-
No, go ahead, finish up, Amanda.
Okay. I know you're in the midst of game planning, but you're heading into your 10th season here at Pitt. It's a milestone, and you know you're one of the longest tenured head coaches here, one of the winningest. Have you had any time to reflect on that?
Nah, not really. I'm worried about winning a football game. The only thing that matters is next Saturday. What we did in the past doesn't matter. Where the future goes doesn't matter. It's where are we today? And I'm just worried about Ken. It ain't about me. It's about these seniors in the front row. It's about our captains in this football team. As honest as you can be. Who had that?
Sorry, Pat,
Yeah.
outside of Brandon and Key, you have a lot of youth at linebacker. You feel like you've got some young guys that are gonna step up and make some plays for you?
Yeah, I do. You know, Kyle Lewis has played a ton of football. Biles has played he's played a lot of football. You know, Jordan Bass would probably be the youngest one in that group of, you know, 6 guys that you see on the depth chart there. And we have some guys after that probably should put on the depth chart, but you know, we feel good with that. Those 6 linebackers right there. And Jordan would be the youngest of the ones in there. Kyle Lewis has played a lot of football. He's aggressive. He's physical. Biles is a dude. You know, Lovelace. I mean, you know, all those guys can play.
What do you know about those 2 Kent State running backs, Thomas and Garcia?
You know, both good players. I mean, obviously, you know, the transfer from Minnesota, the starter, is a good player. You know, he was the you know, MVP of a bowl game when he was at Minnesota. You know, Coach Burns, that's his guy, right? I mean, he's going to get the rock. He's going to get a chance to, you know, run football. He coached in Minnesota, and now he's at Kent State. So, you know, both good football players that we're going to have to stop the run. You know, stop the run be key.
You listed Kenny Johnson as a starter. What did he show during the summer to improve from what you saw from last year?
You know, Kenny's had an up and down, I'd say, fall camp. So we're looking at, you know, again, you know, as a lot of guys, especially at the receiver position, were banged up during the you know, during the summer. You know, Kenny's back and feeling good, and he has been for the last several days. So we're excited to see him back at full speed and playing Kenny ball. Kenny's mature. You know, the offense fits him, and he's an explosive guy that can make plays.
All right.
Anybody else? So let Mike, EJ's not here, so we can cheat on him.
I do have one more, Pat, since I haven't been around. You got a lot of guys on this offense that were recruited under, you guys were playing a different style.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it appears, at least judging by what I saw during the spring, this is pretty different. Do you have you know, do you have to allow for some breaking in process here, or do you expect K to, hey man, we're snapping at 10 seconds until they get it?
Yeah, it's a great question again, Will. I would say this, we're gonna find out. But that's what the whole, 292 days since January, whatever it is, since, January 8th when we set this room here and talked, is to get them on that tempo. And listen to Coach Bell every day talk about it, cause it's new to me, just the operation. Our operation is getting better. Like our operation right now, with the guys that haven't been in this system and didn't get recruited into this system, is so much better than it was when we had the spring ball. So the operation, getting lined up, doing all those things is better. Is it good enough? We'll find out. Like, guys are moving and not set, and the quarterback snaps the ball, we got a legal procedure. It's gonna annoy the hell out of me. But like our operation keeps getting better. These guys that were in a different offenses, half of them played in that type of offense, or 3/4 of them, or maybe 100% of them played in, similar offenses in high schools. They love all these one-word calls, that tell you what formation to line up in, what play to go, and it's just like, that's kind of, we see it every week, whoever we play. So, I think they're used to it, and I think it should be a problem. Anything else? All right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you.
Thanks.
Thank you.